I'm Susan Marlowe.
Marlowe has consistently made untrue statements under oath to support and cover for criminal animal abuse.
First, I am not responsible for Kimi Peck. I do not operate or maintain her website or manage her website.
There's a word here that maybe none of you know because maybe you don't speak French. It's called in lieu of. That means instead of. It says basically 5 acres or more. You can have as many dogs as you want in Kern County.
Our top story this hour, a Tehachapi woman accused of running an illegal dog shelter at her home will appear before county supervisors tomorrow. Kimi Peck is backing off a promise to euthanize all 200 of her dogs.
On June 23rd, you know, why are you doing this to me? Did you trade favors or did
You're getting a little off, ma'am, you're getting off point here.
Corrupt, unbelievably cruel people.
Would you give us your name, please?
I'm sorry, Janet Wingfield. First of all, I'd like to add, Kimi Peck does not run the Chihuahua Rescue website. She has nothing to do really with Chihuahua Rescue, and this is a witch hunt. I think Kimi has been singled out. I think she has been chased down like a rabid dog. Well, I can pretty much tell you there is a conspiracy going on against Miss Peck. People have falsified documents against what went on in Water Canyon, and I'd like to know, when does this stop? I have to agree with Miss Peck that this is a witch hunt. When is there going to be another Sean Penn who will come forward and say, we've got to stop the witch hunts of Kern County?
Kimi Peck is once again in trouble with the law. It's the latest chapter in a long-standing battle with animal control and neighbors of Peck who say she is hoarding dogs in deplorable conditions.
I have not been ignoring the county or the code compliance issues.
CPA, because this property has never been in compliance with county zoning ordinances.
Ms. Marlowe has knowingly consorted with animal hoarders for years.
The activities of Barbara Ryan, a.k.a. Cynthia Gudger, a.k.a. Anita Gilbert. From 2006 to 2008, Marlowe aided and abetted Gudger/Gilbert, whoever she turned out to be, her continued criminal activity by harboring her on the Bear Valley property. That's a 2-year period.
It was also to the county's benefit that the dogs stayed on this property versus being in the hands of animal control.
We showed you the house and warehouse near Tehachapi, where Kern County officers removed about 60 cats and dogs, they said in filthy conditions.
It would have been a burden to animal control, and it would have been a burden to the county. And I guess animal control has enough to do.
The bizarre case of a woman accused of hoarding animals while using multiple identities reached a new level today in Mojave.
Riverside County animal control officers think Anita Gilbert is the woman they know as Barbara Ryan, and they want her for a case from 2006. In that incident, they seized more than 40 animals from squalid conditions. Squalid conditions in the house next door with some 40 animals in.
Were tied so closely to cabinets and walls. There was so much urine on the floor that it had wicked up, disintegrating. You could see it in the curtains. The curtains had wicked up urine, about halfway up the walls. The animals were standing in it so long that their pads were being burned by the urine and the feces, and their flesh was. And not to mention the fact that started the whole thing is the animals were infested with cockroaches and fleas.
When Barbara Ryan, her animals were seized in Riverside County, Ms. Marlowe offered to take control of those animals. Subsequently, she returned them to Barbara Ryan, also known as Anita Gilbert, also known as Cynthia Gudger, who has and is a convicted animal abuser.
It's not fair because I didn't abuse any animals.
I also consider this complaint a complaint of selective enforcement. The activities do not constitute a public nuisance.
ABC 23 News at 6. The bizarre case of a woman accused of hoarding animals while using multiple identities reached a new level today in a Mojave courtroom. Good evening, I'm Todd Carley.
And I'm Jackie Park.
I would request Ms. Marlowe or her representative, if they are here today, to provide an apology to the community that she has so disrupted and imposed costs on.
A public nuisance under California Civil Code is defined as a public nuisance is one which affects at the same time an entire community or neighborhood or any considerable number of persons. The activity does not fit within the definition.
Little off, ma'am, you're getting off point here. And I'm going to close.
And even if this activity were a nuisance, sanctions are inappropriate against me.
She has also had a long relationship with a Ms. Otto, who is also a convicted animal abuser. In fact, their relationship was so close that evidently she quit claim deed part of the property to Ms. Otto.
Property is remote enough where it does not affect anyone around her. And there had been no complaints, to my knowledge, or whatever complaints there have been, were falsely made by my ex-husband.
I have great concerns over what has happened at this property before. A woman here who has harbored, as far as I can tell, 2 hoarders, and who we know there have been animal deaths there related to lack of care and related to other lack of veterinary care. This is very bad for the community of Tehachapi.
This case is consuming resources from someone. By one testifier has already consumed over $100,000 of the county resource.
And not to mention the unrecoverable cost to Kern County of more than $100,000 of taxpayer funds. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It has all been under Marlowe's watch. Then came the saga of Kimi Peck that Tehachapi had already endured with the Water Canyon issue. She's an alleged animal hoarder.
Who's behind all this? Because it's all going to come out. I'm done with it. Corrupt, unbelievably cruel people.
In the past, these persons have been hoarders who justified their appeal for funds from animal lovers across the country because they had the animals. Very little victims suffered and died. They made a very good living. This is a train wreck that Kern County's already been through several times with these persons, which resulted in lowered property values, dead, dying, and long-term sick animals, an expense to the county and we taxpayers, which has not been recouped. The SPCA has suffered huge losses caring for the dogs rescued from these hoarders. In addition, the media attention in the past has made the whole county look like inept rubes taken advantage of by a small cadre of con artists.
Dogs were found floating in a pool on her Tehachapi property.
Ask yourself, do we really need to go down this road again? Skunks don't change their stripes.
We're the voices for the animals. And if somebody doesn't do something, it's going to be repeated. What has happened in the past will just be repeated. Money spent, animals killed, animals not taken care of.
Someone has got to be out there. Someone. There's got to be press. There's got to be people. There's got to be people in Kern County who want to stop this. This is immoral.
Today, accused animal hoarder Kimi Peck was in court in Colorado facing cruelty charges. We first followed her story here in Tehachapi years ago. Today we discovered she has another hearing in Colorado on Friday and a court date this summer in Wyoming. As we first showed you, 56 dogs were taken from Peck's trailer in Cheyenne, Wyoming a few days ago. Then a vet found several with severe problems, according to the shelter director.
So I implore you to think about this. It's just, like the gentleman said, a train wreck waiting to happen all over again.
In fact, I had planned on applying for a CUP 2 years ago, right after I bought the property. And I actually have the council check to prove it.
And that's not fair because I didn't abuse any animals.
As far as the administrative penalties of $5,000 go, I think this is excessive against me. I'm in bankruptcy. I don't have any money. Finally, I want to remind the Board of Supervisors I am in bankruptcy, and I do consider this a violation of the automatic stay.
And I ask you, please, let's not keep going on and on with this. This is ludicrous. Thank you.
Words were exchanged, accusations flew. She is guilty, I believe, of fraud and perjury. Not a word out of her mouth is to be trusted or believed.
And apologies demanded.
I would request Ms. Marlowe or her representative, if they are here today, to provide an apology to the community that she has so disrupted and imposed costs on.
And despite Marlowe's promise to obey the rules this time,
I will be following all the rules that you need me to follow. I have no problem with that.
The board voted 4-1 to uphold the appeal filed by Cummings Valley Protective Association, denying the kennel. Several speakers pointed to Kimi Peck and Cynthia Gudger, saying Marlowe's association shows she's not capable of following regulation.